welcome back to day 4 of BuildTober. Before we begin, I would just like to remind everyone that I am limited in time, space, and intelligence. Without further ado, let's get started. And our theme for today is candy. This is something that's always interested me a little bit, just like Candyland themes and stuff. I never really got around to any of that. I do have something planned for another world of mine, but I still haven't gone around to it, unfortunately. I've kinda got an idea of what I want, but I'm not entirely sure how I'll do it. But I was thinking of a cauldron filled with candy. Because it's got witchy vibes, but also it's full of candy, so it'd still be Halloween themed and not just candy. But we'll just have to see how it goes. Okay, let me explain myself a little bit. So, as you've probably seen through the speed up build, there are a few new blocks. What I wanted to do was to get a colored water mod and make the water pink or something reminiscent of candy. I found some colored water mods, but they weren't for my version, and so I couldn't do that. But as I was searching for them, I also found some cool little mods that I thought would make the sort of candy vibe a little bit stronger. Especially considering I didn't actually go with my first thought, nor did I go with anything specifically candy. It is candy themed still, I just didn't like build the lollipop or anything. But ta-da! I was kind of going for like candied apple orchard vibe at the start. And then there's this little river. It's kind of similar to how I've got trees and a river in the very first prompt. But it's not the same, I hope. But as you'll see, I did test out a few different things with trees. At first, when I thought of this idea, I was going for that classic Japanese cherry blossoms over the little river thing, where there are so many cherry blossoms it looks like it could be a path, but it's a river. I ended up going a bit differently, but still kinda has that vibe. The nautilus shell things are what I made the candy apples. It's supposed to sort of be candied apples. Obviously they're not perfect, but I was also looking for a heads mod, where I could make heads, but that seemed a bit too complicated for me just to get like solid colored heads. So I did not go that route, but I did choose terracotta for the ground to make it more colorful. That did, however, mean I couldn't put flowers everywhere as I had intended, which is a little sad. I've got these signs. This one says Candy Mines, and it's pointing that way. And this one says Candy Shrine, and it's pointing that way. Now you've seen both of these builds, but you'll notice this. Now unfortunately the door has to stay open because if you get in here and you close it, you will not be able to get out. Unless you break this and that would be very sad. It can be closed when you're outside, but not when you're inside. But I do think it's kind of a vibe that it's just open, just like mystical, magical. But let's start with the candy mines. I actually think the candy mines came out pretty well. But there's like rock candy, crystal candy, you know? That's what I was thinking of with that. That's also sort of what I was thinking of with this. It's like dripping sugar. And so it's like pink candy. And then there's some more candy apples that tumble down. I like that these give off light so that I don't have to do any weird things in here. And I can still keep the sort of overall theme of the candied apples going without having to shove too much into here. It is supposed to be a bit crowded because it's dripping candy everywhere. But it's not terrible. And I think it fits the vibe. And now we enter here. This is the candy shrine. Now, before I turn around, I have to notify you that I did change it a little bit in comparison to what it was when I did the speed up. This is because I thought of a deranged idea and I went through with it. Now, without further ado, this is the final candy shrine. Now this, you've all seen. This was in the speed up. You've seen me change this pillow like 8 times. And you saw me change the painting to the Nautilus shell. You may not have actually seen that. It depends on my angle. Unfortunately, I'm not very well thought out. But this kind of looks like a piece of candy with the candy in the center and then the twist the sides. But even if you can't see it, it's just a nice carpet design. Now, that's obviously changed. But you might notice that there are some trapdoors here. These ones were already there, but you might notice these ones. Now when you open them, you get to a bookcase. And every single book is the same. It's just a book with 55 pages of the word candy. I'm not gonna scroll through them all. You get the gist. Now I'm thinking about it, I suppose I could have put like cakes and stuff down. You know, that never even... The idea of placing like actual candy never even crossed my mind. Wow. There's like actual cookies and golden apples, which you might be able to get away with considering candy apples. I'll keep that cake up there. I'm actually flabbergasted that that did not cross my mind. But I think it looks very mystical and magical, just like a little candied apple orchard. I'm not entirely sure if it suits Halloween. I do think it does a little bit because of the apple orchard that always gives me fall vibes. The red also gives me fall vibes. That's why I went for the red specifically. Could have gone for the orange, because this is actually a really nice looking mod. I don't remember what it's called. I might put it in the description if I remember. It's actually really nice. It's about azalea trees. That's the wrong button. Colorful azaleas. That's probably the mod name. But this orange, and then it comes with the own orange wood, which looks a bit nice, I think. Haven't actually placed it, and it's also the middle of the night. I feel like the dark vibe would make this pop a little better because of all the lights. I think that wood looks nice. This one kind of is reminiscent of Burst. That was not right. This one's reminiscent of Birch. It's also a blue one, which looks quite nice. And then I chose the rose azalea, the red azalea. I was tempted to choose the pink one because candy kind of reminds me more of pink. But I wanted that fall orchard apple vibe. This is a nice wood as well. I like the color of this wood. But I do think it's a really neat mod if you want more leaves and stuff. Especially because of the gradient. But that is the candy theme all finished. I'm sure there are things I could have done to enhance this, such as maybe some candy clouds. Maybe instead of just having this be a regular signpost, it could have been something candy themed like a lollipop. But I think even though I didn't heavily weigh into the candy theme, it still fits the theme. And it came out alright. I tried to put more thought into the terrain than in the first one. And I thought maybe building more underground. Because I do get stuck on the whole, this plot is only so big thing. And I get stuck on that, which means I don't really consider going up and down. I tried to go a little bit up with this one, but obviously it didn't work out well. That one's basically just a house, so I don't really consider it much thought. I could have done a basement. Could have done a creepy basement for that house. I could have done a dungeon. How cool would that have been? Just a dungeon under the house with some redstone splotches as blood. But I like the vibes of this one. I feel like if this were massive and continued like onwards, it would have been nice scenery. I could have put a bench or something over there, over there. But, you know, I'm not disappointed in it. It obviously isn't my original idea, which was a cauldron of candy. But it'll have to do. Thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed, please come back. I hope to see you again.